Hey guys, happy Aloha Friday to you, and today's Aloha Friday special is Azama Fish Market. And if you haven't heard of it, it is a small hole in the wall in Waipahu, and it's really right off of Farrington Highway. It's hard to really see if you've never been there, but it's in a small little strip mall. You can't miss it. Right after you pass Waipahu Depot Road on Farrington Highway, it's in the small little strip mall to the right of you. It's right after Highway Inn if you're going westbound. And it has some awesome Hawaiian food and local specialties as far as fish and snacks. So we'll show a couple of them today. They do have a small plate lunch menu, very, very small. I think there's only like 5 different choices. All of them have Lau Lau. I really wanted the Lau Lau with poi, but they already ran out. They're open at 9 a.m. I went at about 10, a little after 10, maybe 10:10 a.m. and they were already sold out of the poi. Bummers, but I got the regular special. It's the Lau Lau plate with the Lomi salmon and 2 scoops of rice. And so we'll dig in, and I have a bunch of snacks to try as well that you can't find mostly anywhere else these days. So I'm kind of stoked about it. Let's try this Lau Lau out. I like that he already took the tea leaf off. He makes the plate for you when you order, so it's nice and piping hot. Here's some kalo leaves. If you've never had Lau Lau and never watched my other Hawaiian specials, they're pretty much taro leaves. And taste like spinach. Good flavor. Here is some meat. Pretty good flavor as far as the salt and seasoning. I got a nice bite of butterfish in that bite. Let's try it with some rice. Hits the spot. This is a good Lau Lau. Really good, nice Hawaiian salt seasoning. Not too salty, not undersalted. It's not dry. The meat is really moist and good and soft. I'm really liking it. Here's a big chunk of meat, and it's all pork. And like I said, I tasted some butterfish in there, so it does have butterfish. Some people don't put it in there, and that's kind of disappointing because it's really delicious. Rice is cooked perfectly. Not too soggy, not too hard. Soaks up that pork and juice from the leaves. Absolutely beautiful. I will say though, it's just a regular medium Lau Lau, so you know, there are some places that brag that they put a lot of meat. This isn't like too small, but it's just right. But if you're a big eater, you might need more than that. But I think it's pretty much a good size for me. All right, so you get a cup of this Lomi salmon, and we're gonna try it out. He also scoops it when you order it. It's not pre-made in the cup sitting there. So he has it in the fridge with the rest of the poke. Also good flavor. Nice Hawaiian salt flavor. Really crunchy, fresh tomatoes, and the crunch of the onions and the salmon give it a nice bright flavor. A really good one. This one doesn't have green onions in it though. So if you don't like green onions, then this is for you. All right, we're gonna move along. It's kind of short, but pretty much all in all, it's a really good plate lunch. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because I've done other Hawaiian plates. I'm just comparing it to other places. And this one passes my taste test. I really enjoyed it. The flavors are delicious. Although it's simple and I didn't get the poi, I'm not disappointed at all. It's delicious and filling. And even though it looks simple, it's a great filling meal and it has tons of flavor. So if you're looking for a good Lau Lau plate, go to Azama's. This is good. And you're gonna be surprised. Here, let me dig this out. You also get a drink with your plate lunch. So I picked, you can pick whatever you want. I got my passion orange. They've got other Hawaiian Sun drinks as well, and Sprite and Coke and all that. Or you can get a water. So with the drink and the Lau Lau with your Lomi salmon and 2 scoops of rice, it was only $6.99. So you can pass on by. I mean, I don't mean to badmouth, but if you're on a budget and you don't want to pay $15 for a Hawaiian plate, you pass on by Highway Inn and just go to Azama's. It's right down the road, and you get a nice plate lunch with a drink for $6.99. All right, so I feel special. I went, like I said, at around 10 a.m. They open at 9. They've only been open for an hour or so, and I got the last Opihi. They also sell Opihi, and they usually always have it. And if you're late, you're not going to get any. It's really hard to find this on the island. Maybe Big Island has more, but Oahu, it's really rare to find it in most poke shops because it's such an expensive thing. But if you've never had Opihi, it's pretty much a limpet that grows on the rocks, mostly on the Big Island, and they harvest them and shell them, and this is what it is. To some, it's really gross looking. I grew up with it, so I love it. It's one of my favorite things to eat, and it's not an everyday thing because it's, like I said, very expensive. This one looks interesting. It's got some chopped onion in it and a bunch of sauce, natural juices from it. So let's taste it. Usually it's just the Opihi itself. Still has that nice crunch. When you get fresh Opihi, it's usually crunchy, almost like a raw abalone in a way. It's got a nice taste of the sea to me. And even when I open this little container, you could just smell it. It just smells like the ocean. I don't think the onion really does anything to it. I mean, it tastes really good. It's got a little bit of seaweed in there too. Super delicious. So if you like Opihi and you can't find it, definitely come to Azama's. They're really tiny, but like I said, it's an expensive item. That's why they're in tiny little containers like this. Wow, that's so good. And I like how he soaks it in the juices. Definitely, definitely good. Look at this massive one. There's a really big one in here. I wouldn't say the onion takes any flavor away from this Opihi. Actually, it gives it a nice crunch. I'm not sure if he soaked the onion in water or just is using some mild onion, but definitely not a strong onion flavor at all. It just has that nice texture crunch when you eat your Opihi. So I thought, yeah, this is pretty good with the onion. For this little container of Opihi, it is $10. Quite expensive, but like I said, if you go anywhere else, it is an expensive item in Hawaiian cuisine. So you're gonna have to pay for it if you really crave it. This is what catches my eye in Hawaiian cuisine whenever I see it, and you gotta get it. And not many places as well make this. If you go to poke shops, it is Lomi o'io. And o'io is a bonefish that fishermen catch. You can do it shoreline, and they scrape the raw meat off of it and mash it up almost like a fish cake, but it's raw. And they put inamona in it, which is kukui nuts. In here it's got a little bit of finely chopped onion and green onion and some ogo or limu, which is seaweed. So I'm excited to have some. Really rare to have as well. So good. Usually you can only get this homemade from somebody's house or something. It's really rare that you see it in a shop. Wow, delicious. This one's so good. I like the way he made it. You've got texture contrast with the soft Lomi o'io. The meat is fresh and delicious. You've got the crunch of the onion and the green onion flavor, and sometimes you get a little crunch of the limu. So good. And he chops the limu really fine. That way it crunches. I'm sure you can hear the crunching. Really, really good. And surprisingly, the price for this is only $12.99 a pound. For all the work you gotta do to scrape the bone, you know, the meat off the bone of the fish. Fish also has a lot of tiny bones. I didn't get any bones in mine. I think that's hard work to do. And all the fresh ingredients like the limu and the kukui nut, I think $12.99 is a deal. So if you want your Lomi o'io and you can't find any, this is the place to be. Next up, we have our pickled ogo. Some people call it NAMASU, but Hawaiian pickled ogo, which is the limu that's pickled, and it's got vinegar and a little bit of sugar in it. That's how they pickle it. Sometimes they put the carrots and cucumber in it. I'm not sure if that's cucumber. Looks like it. A little bit of cucumber, a little bit of carrot and onion. This one though is unique. He puts 2 shrimps on the top that probably give it a blast of flavor. So let's dig into this one. So I already did a pickled ogo review or showcase at Joyce and Masa. I really enjoyed theirs. I haven't been to Tanioka's to film just because it's a little bit popular and people already know about it. Maybe I'll go there one day, but I do enjoy Tanioka's, and I do really like Tanioka's pickled ogo as well. So let's taste this and see if it rates up there. This one's not as sour, it's very sugary. Let's dig on the bottom. Yeah, this one's a little bit too sugary for my taste. It's literally like sugar water. I don't taste any vinegar in it at all, but the crunch of the limu and the freshness of it is really delicious. The shrimp gives it a nice flavor as well, soaking in there, the 2 dried shrimp. But for me, I would rather have Tanioka's or Joyce and Masa's pickled ogo. This is like literally soaking in sugar water, and I'm not a fan of things that are too sweet. So maybe I might fix it to my taste at home and pour some white vinegar in here just to balance out the taste, but definitely no vinegar taste to balance out the sweetness at all. I really don't know if there's vinegar in here at all. It's literally like if you were to drink the soup, be just sugar and water. Well, I mean, if you like sweet stuff and you don't like vinegar, then you might like this. So at Azama's, they also call it ogo NAMASU, and it is $6.99 for a whole container of that pickled ogo NAMASU, whatever you may call it. So that's pretty much a deal. And they have pickled onions as well for $5, and a lot of other things in their fridge section like tegu, and I think I saw like some refrigerated big bags of poi, stuff like that too. All right, so they also do pulehu taco and dried akus and dried taco. So I didn't get the pulehu taco. I only saw it afterwards. Oopsie. That's okay. Dried taco is good too. So this is pretty much dried out octopus, and it's cut into little strips and it's sold in these little bags. Really good flavor. It's got a nice chew to it, almost like it's supposed to be like beef jerky, that consistency. Again, good seasoning on the salt ratio. This is really good. Even though it's not pulehu, I'm not sure. This is still has a nice smoky flavor. Very light though, but delicious. Again, Hawaiian food's very expensive, and it does take a lot of work to do this taco. I have smoked some taco before myself, and you put the whole octopus in there and it only makes a little bit because it dehydrates so much. So I can understand why it's a little bit on the high side and you're only getting a little bit, because of the hard work and the quantity you are left with after all that work. This little bag is $7.99, but I think it's worth it. It's a snack you don't always eat. It's a treat for local people that like Hawaiian style food, and it's good. All right, so our final finale. They claim to have the best dried aku. They sell it in the big sticks, but they also do these convenient little bags as well, just like the taco, and he cuts it up. So this is dried aku. If you're not familiar, it's just dried aku fish, and usually you dry it in a screen box in the sun, and it totally stinks, but it's delicious. Definitely not something you want to eat before a date or something, or at work, because you'll probably stink up the whole place, but really, really good if you like dried fish. Oh yeah, that's good. To have a good dried aku, you need good consistency. It can't be too tough. The outside should be a little bit chewy, but the inside is soft. And the taste is amazing. Again, really good at seasoning stuff, from all the savory stuff, the Lomi oio, the smoked taco, the Lau Lau, all have great seasoning. And it's pretty plain seasoning, but we're used to it. It's just Hawaiian salt, but just that simple Hawaiian salt makes it so flavorful. A very good snack. Low fat, almost like beef jerky, but in a fish form, so get you full. Yeah, I like that softness in the middle. Really, really delicious. So I had some pretty good dry aku, but yeah, this is on top of there, so I can see why they claim to make the best dried aku. Delicious. All right, so for the bags that are tiny, just like the taco, these ones for the dried aku are $10 each. And they're conveniently sliced for snack-sized bites. If you want the big sticks that are not cut, they are a little bit expensive. It's $31.99 a pound, but dried aku anywhere is very expensive anyway. But I would say that is some pretty good dried aku, and I would pay good money for it. So definitely worth it if you're craving that. So yeah, go to Azama's fish market for some great pupus and Hawaiian food. You can't go wrong here. Definitely something to go grab some Friday night hana snacks if they're left with any. If you're working on a Friday, I'm not sure what's left at the end of the day. They do close at 4. But definitely go there early if you want all the good stuff, such as the opihi and the poi. Otherwise, they're out so quick. The lady before me, I think she spent like almost $100 on stuff. If you're going there, there is parking, but they share it with other businesses. So you got to look for the signs right in front of the store, and they are posted that it is parking for their fish market only. If you park in the other stalls, they're marked by the other businesses. So you might not want to park in their stalls because they probably get upset. But when I went, there was parking, and somebody else pulled in after me, and then I left. So people are in and out, and you'll always find a spot. I mean, they're not in there for very long. The service was very friendly. It's fast and efficient. The store is very tiny, but has a lot to offer. So definitely check out Azama Fish Market. It's a hole in the wall. Lots of people have been going there. So if you're from Waipahu, or you're in the area, or you're in the know, then it is quite popular. People go there. But if you don't know, now you know. You can go there instead of all the other popular places that are packed with tourists and other people and long lines. This is definitely worth it, and you can definitely find stuff that you don't find anywhere else in other poke shops, such as the Lomi and the Opihi and stuff, and the dried taco. So check it out if you want some great Hawaiian food. Azama Fish Market in Waipahu. I'll see you again next time for another food adventure. Press the like button and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.